Hey family, it's that lady. How y'all doing? Opened a can of worms with this one, but I'm glad you're here. We're going to continue on. As I told you in the first one, if you didn't do the introductory video, please go back and watch that one. It's probably right before this one. I'll try and cue it up out here somewhere, but what we're doing now is digging into abuse. It's that it's the quiet thing that we don't talk about in the black community. It's you know, the thing that we hide under a ton of makeup in the white community. Yeah. And what I want to do with this is dispel some misnomers and myths so that there can be real healing. Okay? Now, in the introduction, I told you there is so many ways to look at it. And this is how to reign over abuse. And you're talking to the lady, Queen. And I don't want you to get twisted with that. I'm not queen of abuse. I'm not walking around here beat up all the time. I say that because in doing this and setting up just journaling on a continual basis, I realize there have been so much progress in myself and how I carry myself and how I see myself. And it has come through abuse and what I have learned and taken away from it. And I know, stay with me. Stay with me. Don't flip out. Okay, I'm not trying to glorify something like this. But as I said in the first one, and please, by all means, this will be a class. Okay? But I know there's somebody like me that's going through this. And you're wondering, I just got over this. Now this. I can't deal with it anymore. Oh God, please just leave me alone. I understand. I get it. I promise you I do. I get it. What people don't seem to understand is there is a difference. Okay? And tonight we're going to, on this one, we're going to talk about a specific abuse, and that's mental abuse. And it's given many different names, but we're going to try and hone in on that particular aspect, and it will cover all. So what many people do when dealing with mental abuse is we confuse it with mental illness. And that is where you're going to lose the healing. Yes. Mental illness can be inherited. You can go through mental illness just by taking medications. Have you ever taken, like, I don't know, a stress pill or a blood pressure pill or some type of pain pill, and they tell you that the side effects could be sleeplessness, nervousness, loss of appetite, and depression, and you hear that? You're taking medication for something else, and you come up with a mental illness. And people are like, that's different. That's from medicine. No, depression is depression is depression. I don't have any other way to say that. How you get it, that's going to be the only difference. But it's the same thing. The different levels of it is going to be one of these videos as well. So please take notes. Be aware. And why am I saying take notes? Because I know there are people right now that are in these circumstances. Okay? And you're wondering why I feel so exhausted all the time and overwhelmed and confused and just utterly tired. I'm ready to just give up on it and walk away from it all. Don't. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay? There's nothing wrong with you, darling. Not a thing. Now, while that lady may not be psychological and PhD'd and all of that, well, I am. Okay, I do have a law degree, as I love to say. Yes, it's called Life and Wisdom. And with that, I have gone through much of this with myself in relationships, on jobs, even with my children, my siblings, my parent. I've gone through these levels of abuse in so many different planes. And I can say if it were not for faith, I don't know where I would be standing. Okay? Because a lot of times I would white out. I would blame myself for so many things. And as I began to delve into treatment with psychiatrists and therapists and different people, and see that's something else that we're going to have to do in the black community. We're going to have to let go of that stigma, that taboo. That's why so many people walking around out here unhinged. They're unraveling because you're walking around with years and years of hurt that has festered, and now it's mutating inside of you. And what went in you as, I don't know, an unrequited love or a jilted affection, or you got disappointed or fired from a job, now it has morphed into this rage that you carry around for everybody. Honey, you've been abused to an effect to where now that abuse has festered into I hate to use this term, into a cancer, and it's only affecting you. So I am hoping this will help you not only just find the door to your healing, but begin to open it and walk through. Because that is what we're aiming for, the through. That is what this is about. We're aiming for the through. So, like I said, we're going to focus on mental abuse. It can take many names, of course, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, gesture abuse, all of these different types of things. And before these children get out here and go, gesture abuse, I remember mama, no, boo, it ain't your mama shutting you up in the grocery store. No. That's called discipline. Sweetie, go sit down somewhere. And as a disclaimer, I'm going to have to say this. These videos will not be for everybody. So parents, please use your discretion. If you look it up, you're going to see psychological abuse in your definitions. Okay? Because that's what it is. It's in your mental. It's about your psychology. It's about how you cognitively reason. It's about your thinking. So the abuse comes in because abuse is the misuse of a thing. Ill treatment. It is the protagonist, the disparaging of. Okay? The abuse is a thing. Now, what you come out of that with is the illness or the effect. All right? Okay, here's one. You, as a child, okay, your parent has always told you you're no good. Every day, that's all you heard. If you did something wrong, if you did something right, you just ain't no good. I just don't know what I'm going to do with you. And as you got older, it became worse. It became different things. It became all these different abusive words and, everything. So now, as an adult, you're still holding that and harboring that, and that has morphed into lack of confidence, low self-esteem. That has caused you to self-hate and even sometimes think self-harming will help you. Now, can you see the cause and the effect? We must begin to dissect, take apart those two things, because they are two things. Okay? And if it helps you, Don't call it mental abuse. Call it psychological abuse. Call it emotional abuse. How about that? Okay? Somebody cursing you all the time. Okay? Somebody always talking down about you. Here's one that I use, and I want people to know this one up top. It's called nice nasty. And I bet some of you know some nice nasty people. They always say something nice, but right behind it is that nastiness that comes with it. Oh, girl, that dress is nice. I like that. Now, if you lose about 5-10 pounds, it'll look right on you. Yo, bruh, that car is the bomb. That is it, dude. When did you get that? Damn. If you wasn't all fat and everything hanging off the seat, you probably look good in it. That's a form of emotional abuse. Oh, that's just petty, Teresa. No, it's not. And why is that? Because the person that they're saying it to, you don't know their mental state. You don't know their emotional state. You don't know where they are with themselves emotionally. You don't know what they've gone through. And you could just push them over the edge. You could say something for them to go back and actually not just think of suicide, but actually attempt it. That very word you just said, they were probably already beating themselves up about the dress. They got it on sale and thought, well, yeah, I can, So let me just say this to everybody with your nice, nasty words. Shut up. Nobody's talking to you. Nobody asked. Just be quiet. If you can't say something nice, go sit your broke down somewhere. Okay? Let people live. Let people live. I guarantee you, if the brother is overweight, he knows. He gets up with them aching joints every day. He doesn't need you saying anything about it. And I bet, I honestly can tell you this, if that sis got that dress, she already knew what she had to do to look good in it. She didn't need you coming back on the back of that, adding to the beating up she's already doing. Emotional abuse. Okay? Now, here's some of the things that come out of it. I kind of did an outline, so we're going to try and get through it real quick. It can come in these forms. Gaslighting. We all know what gaslighting is, right? Making someone question their own thinking. Okay? Shifting the blame on the victim. Victim blaming. Criticisms, humiliations, put downs, like I was just saying, that nice nasty stuff, and not just the nice nasty, but the silent treatment, one I hate. If you're a real open person, silent treatment could be murder for you. It could be, oh my goodness, it could drive you crazy. But see, silent treatment for me, I'm going to look at you and smile. So you being silent? Oh, man. You don't know me. I love being by myself and being quiet. Go ahead, shut up. Let's see how good it can get for me. There are some people it won't work on. Okay? Here's one that's really harmful and hurtful. In your conversations with this person that's mentally abusing you, they suggest that you're mentally unstable. Yeah, they bring that up in the conversation. They drop that little nugget. You already got it here, but now it's coming around because somebody said it. And now it's somebody you know. And all of a sudden it gives clarity and it gives credence and weight to what you've been thinking. And now it's in your mind. It has become a seed. Okay? I hope this is really opening you up. Okay? Because there are some people out here going through this right now. And you don't understand it. And we have got to have clear minds to go into what we have to deal with. coming up. That's why I chose to do this, because as queen, I want everybody to reign over your abuse. Yes, I want you to be able to look at your life every day and realize, yes, I went through that, but look at what it did for me. And that is the ultimate goal to this. I want you to be able to look at each one of these videos and be able to take something away from it, look at yourself and get healing. Because that's the healing, when you're able to look at and say, I know that person leaving me did that to me and it really hurt. But dang it, I got boundaries now and I know how to deal with it the next time. Exactly. Okay? So they say 91% of the survivors experience some form of psychological violence in their relationships. Can you believe that? Psychological violence. Now, what does that look like for your relationship? The people you're around, who you deal with, on your job, in your home, in your community. What does that look like? These are things that must be healed. You don't have to hide them. Okay? While there are a lot of people that want to stigmatize you with this, that lady is not one of them. Okay? So you can come back to these anytime you want. I'm going to tell you. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You're fine. You are in the what? 99.92% of people that go through this? Yes. Did you hear this? 91%. These people, there's a greater number of people experiencing things like this. Psychological abuse, emotional, physical. So shh, calm yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Not a thing. Okay? Now, it is said that 88% of practitioners agree that psychological violence can be as or more harmful than physical violence. What is psychological violence? That violence that tears your mentality apart with words. The abuse that comes across you on a daily. As a child, you can be emotionally scarred so bad that as an adult, you can't even function without medication, supervision. Yes, this is called what? Psychological violence. This child has been beaten and battered every day of their life to the point to where now they're as an adult and they can't even have a flowing, congruent conversation because they don't even know how to interact with people. If somebody disagrees with them, they're going to think they're coming against them. They're arguing against them. You know what I mean? Okay? So don't ever think you are wrong. And I'm going to keep saying this through all of these. There's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. You're in the 99.92% of all of us that go through this. Okay? Now, 85% of survivors are said that the perpetrators use the children to threaten and control them. Yes, psychological. Psychological abuse. Yes. Now that you have a name for it, you don't have to go in that back room and be by yourself wondering why you have these feelings and these emotions. Let me delve into some of the tactics that your abusers can use. Okay? I'm just going to hit them. And if you want, put in the comments what you want to go over in more detail, and we'll do that. Manipulating tactics. That's what brings this to you. That's what makes you a part of it. It is manipulation. And think about it like this so you'll know it's not you going forward. You didn't have those thoughts when it started. Okay? Somebody else said it and brought it to you. Always remember that. It came from outside of you. And somebody brought it to you to change you. And what we call that is manipulative tactics. Yes, somebody's manipulating you. Somebody is what I like to call handling you, because they want something from you or to do something to you or both. You're being handled. Okay? Here's one. Brainwashing. The process of manipulating and modifying a person's emotions and attitudes and beliefs. It happens over a time, different patterns that they use for it, but it is a very real manipulative tactic used in what? Emotional abuse. Brainwashing. Kind of thing where they talk you out of being around your family and your friends, and they have you all to yourself. Oh, honey, cognitive dissonance. I know, a couple of big words. Stress, anxiety, or discomfort experienced by an individual who holds two or more contradictory beliefs or ideas. At the same time, or confronted by new information that conflicts with those beliefs and contradictions. Everything in there is just firing off. It's just firing off. That's a manipulative tactic. Somebody already knows that you got a soup going up here, some mishmash, and they just throw some more in there just to keep you off balance, off key. It's not you. Okay? Dosing. I know that's one of those words. And we know that song that Sierra made out there, dosing. But small and temporary revivals of the idolized phase where the abuser gives his or her victim, okay, doses of attention. They measure you out. Yeah, they know what you like, and they go for it. They play with it. It's a manipulative tactic. So now when you get in your relationships and you start noticing some of these things, man, that lady said something about that. Just get quiet, pay attention, and remember this in the front of your mind if you don't remember nothing else. There's nothing wrong with you. Somebody's working you. They're trying to handle you. Okay? Because the way you think has worked for you all along. Okay? Whoever is disagreeing, you are not wrong. They want to change what works for you so it'll work for them. In other words, they want to change you to use you for them. Okay? Now, I want to say this. I've told you at the beginning, as a disclaimer, I'm not Dr. No, whatever, nothing. No. I'm just a real human being who has lived through this, has gone through it. So, keep that in mind. Let's go back to gaslighting, a form of abuse in which information, okay, whatever they're saying, is twisted or spun or selected in such a way that it favors the abuser. Okay? Another part, grooming. This one was really, it kind of hit home. A calculated and predatory act. Get it now. Hear it. Calculated and predatory, meaning they saw you, and they saw you as a mark. They're getting you ready. They're grooming you for their gain. A calculated and predatory act of manipulating another individual into subtly and slowly taking on a set of behaviors and actions that makes the victim more isolated, dependent, and needing, likely to trust, and more vulnerable to the abusive person. They're getting you ready. They're not just handling you. They're handling you in such a way that they're going to bring you in and suck you in so much that they're going to change who you are and how you think. They're grooming you. They're getting you ready. And you all know what grooming is what we do to puppies and cats and whatever. Yeah, we getting them in shape. We shaping them up. You groom yourself. Now think about that in terms of somebody abusing you emotionally. And that leads me to what? Hoovering. Yeah, like the vacuum cleaner, the Hoover. Yes, that is a manipulative tactic. Somebody hoovering you. I go through that with my family. Let me tell you. A manipulative technique. I don't want to call it a technique because then it gives it sort of a edge that makes it seem pretty cool, something you want to do. So I'm going to call it a tactic. Okay? All right. A manipulative tactic named after the Hoover vacuum. It's called hoovering. And used by users to what? Suck their victims back into the relationship. Yep. It's just that simple. And you know, of course, what love bombing is, don't you? Yes, they coming hard and they hitting heavy. Every day they love you, they love you, they love you. They calling, they leaving text messages, flowers, candy. They all over you. They on the job, telling everybody how much you love them. They finna get, yes, y'all finna get married in 6 days. I've said this and I'm gonna keep saying it. Ladies, here's how you know you're being love bombed. There is such a thing as love at first sight. There is such a thing. Okay? But it's never uneven and it's never unlevel. Don't forget that. All right? It's never uneven, never unlevel. And how can I say that? Because, for somebody to say they've seen you for a few times walking around, excuse me, that ain't love at first sight. You didn't have time to check me out. You know things about me. You know things because you've been watching me. You know where I eat, where I go, where I work. You see me with a couple of my friends. That ain't love. That ain't love at first sight. That's love bombing. You stalking. And I'm going to keep saying this whether you want to believe it or not. Okay? Only arranged marriages have love at first sight. Only arranged marriages. Why can I say that? Because mama put you together with this one's grandmom over here and grandmom over here got together. And y'all meet each other and you know each other's families. Y'all are good with each other's families. And you finally see somebody like, oh, they beautiful. There you go. Love at first sight. But all of this other stuff, no, boo, that's not love at first sight. That's lust. At first sniff. You don't know enough about them. I'm telling you, an arranged marriage is the only thing that love at first sight can happen with. And why do I say that? Because these families know each other. Y'all grew up knowing each other. You played together, probably went to school together. Y'all know each other. But you've never been in that close proximity to see each other and pay attention. But now that the marriage is here and y'all come to the agreement, you sit down across over here and you sit down across over here. Oh, ooh, they beautiful. Okay, granny, let's sign the document. But love at first sight out here in these streets? Oh, no, no. What do you want from me, sir? Are you a hobo? Where do you live? 1300 Box Avenue? Huh? Okay? No, sir. No. You can't convince me you've been living with your mama for 40 years to take care of her. No. What you mean we got to hurry up? The car got to go back. Go back where? Moving on. Normalizing. I'm going to try and run through these because I'm running over time. I wanted to give you more in-depth and ideas of what emotional abuse can be, psychological abuse, or mental abuse, what it can be. So we're going to run through them. And if you want me to go into detail about them, that's great. I will do that. But let's just sort of run through these and maybe you'll recognize. Normalizing the silent treatment. Stonewalling. Okay? Is a general refusal to communicate or cooperate and sometimes accompanied by the silent treatment. In other words, you done ran up against a brick wall. They ain't even trying to talk to you no more. They just got that. I don't even want to talk about it. No. They stonewalling you. Manipulative tactic. In other words, they're trying to break your boundary to make you bend to what they want. Triangulation. Creating some form of drama or chaos with the abuser in the middle. Generally involving two rivals, okay, and manipulating them into a conflict with each other. That's the abuser doing that to two different people. That's what I see out here in these streets when you see young women going ham on each other over a dude. Honey, you're being manipulated. You're being manipulated. That's your girl. Y'all have known each other for what, 15 years? You've known dude for 15 minutes. But now y'all arguing over him? You got beef with each other? Last one I'm going to go over is word salad. That's just this somebody with a conversation that's just all over the place. Okay? They just all over the place. It don't mean anything. It's not congruent. They ain't talking about nothing. You start here and you end there. They all over the place. It's just a word salad. It's a mishmash. They got all kinds of stuff in their head. Honey, their thoughts is running around like a bag of cats. Come on now. They call it word salad. I call it cuckoo. The type of people that's just saying stuff. One minute they over here, the next minute they over there. Now all of a sudden they mad about what? What's wrong with you? You need a nap. Now, with these types of tactics, here's some effects, and maybe you'll recognize some of them. We're going to wrap this up. Confused, anxious, under pressure all the time. Oh my goodness, low self-esteem or self-worth, exhausted, worn down, just a lack of motivation. Come on, emotionally withdrawn or shut down, lonely, isolated. You see it? Now you understand what emotional abuse can cause. Okay? It can cause. In other words, all those things we just talked about. And if you want, go back, watch it, start it, stop it, do whatever you got to do. Work it, do whatever you got to do. If these apply to you, okay? But here's some of the ongoing effects that can be devastating. Issues with confidence, trust, trusting other people, trust in relationships, just relationships in general. Your finances can be affected. Absolutely. You're being manipulated up here to think you don't know what to do with money. Now you're telling yourself, girl, I'm going to let you do this because I don't know what to do. Employment problems. Because you're so all over the place with your conversation, you can't even get through a job interview to keep your job. Oh my goodness. But the severe things that can come out of this is why I chose to delve into this. So let me hit them, and I'm going to let this end right here. And I'll catch you in the next one. But severe issues that are medically treated. Understand that. And it comes from what? Mental, emotional abuse. Okay? Anxiety, depression, PTSD, thoughts of and attempts to of suicide, self-harm, self-flagellation, eating disorders. Come on. Now do you get how serious that is? Do you see where the causes come from? Can you understand now the difference between mental abuse and mental illness? One is the weapon, the other is the damage. So before you go out there and put your mouth on somebody, I suggest you think about what you're doing. If you believe in biblical things, then this ought to really hit home. You need to not put your mouth on people. You don't know what you're doing. Okay? Now, keep in mind, this is not professional advice, but it will give you something to write down, to talk to someone about. In these, I will be trying to enclose information, links, numbers, all of that for you to find ways to get help for yourself. But we're not going into 2025 abused with an abused mentality, because we are going to reign over our abuse. See you in the next one.